Black Friday. The one day each year when America collectively loses its mind over discounted electronics and allegedly once-in-a-lifetime deals that mysteriously reappear every few months. Today, we're diving into the worst Black Friday incidents in history, but through a mental health lens. Because nothing says holiday cheer like examining trauma during capitalism's favorite sporting event. Let's start with the big one. In 2008, at a Walmart in Valley Stream, New York, more than 2,000 people waited outside overnight for deals. When the doors opened, the crowd surged forward in a full-on stampede. A worker named Dimitai Damora was crushed to death. And what's terrifying is that most people in the crowd didn't even realize what was happening. That's not because they were bad people. It's because of crowd psychology. The human brain literally shuts down empathy when overstimulated and surrounded by chaos. People go from individuals to components of a single, panicked organism. Once adrenaline and scarcity panic kick in, the brain goes into survival mode. Push forward, don't fall, don't get left behind. It's a disaster recipe. Black Friday is basically sensory overload on steroids. Bright fluorescent lights, shouting, metal carts banging together, aggressive signage everywhere, loud announcements, people pushing from every direction. Even for neurotypical people, it's a cortisol wonderland. For autistic folks, or anyone sensitive to sensory chaos, it's like being stuffed inside a malfunctioning pinball machine full of anxiety and capitalism. The overstimulation alone can trigger panic attacks, meltdowns, dissociation, or emotional shutdowns. And stores still think blasting louder music boosts the energy. It boosts something, but not in the good direction. Then there was the infamous pepper spray incident in 2011. A shopper used pepper spray on a crowd competing for discounted electronics. Let me repeat that. Someone deployed a chemical weapon over an Xbox. This is what happens when holiday stress, scarcity anxiety, and the belief that this is the only way to afford gifts collide. People's emotional regulation collapses. Fight or flight becomes fight or fight or fight. And the saddest part is that a lot of Black Friday violence comes from people who were already on emotional fumes before stepping into the store. That's the thing most folks forget. Holidays are already a mental health battlefield. Seasonal depression ramps up. Family pressure ramps up. Money stress skyrockets. There's this cultural idea that you must provide the perfect holiday, even if you're barely holding yourself together. Black Friday exploits that vulnerability. Every ad whispers, if you don't get this deal, you're failing your family. That's not a bargain. That's emotional manipulation in 1080p. And then there are the fights. Black Friday fights are practically a genre now. Dozens of videos every year of people brawling over TVs, kitchen appliances, dolls, towels. These aren't just random acts of aggression. They're stress responses. Under extreme stress, humans experience tunnel vision, heightened threat perception, and reduced reasoning. Someone bumping your cart on a normal day? Annoying. Someone bumping your cart on Black Friday? Your brain goes, we are under attack. Engage combat mode. And suddenly you've got grown adults grappling on linoleum flooring while someone in the back yells, it's just a blender. And we cannot talk about Black Friday without talking about retail workers, the underpaid frontline soldiers of capitalism's emotional war. These people experience chronic stress, confrontation, verbal abuse, impossible expectations, overwork, lack of breaks, and being yelled at for situations completely outside their control. Many retail workers genuinely develop trauma responses around the holidays, hypervigilance, dread, panic, even PTSD symptoms. Imagine going to work knowing you might get screamed at, shoved, or hit with a flying crockpot. For minimum wage, retail workers deserve therapy, hazard pay, and possibly emotional battle medals. Another incident involved two men shooting each other dead outside a toy store after an argument escalated. A toy store. That's the extreme end of how emotional dysregulation, stress, scarcity, and ego can create lethal outcomes in high-pressure environments. Most people think holiday shopping is fun. For others, it's life or death. Not because of the items, but because of the psychological pressure wrapped around them. And beneath all of this chaos is something surprisingly human. People shop like this because they're desperate to feel in control. Buying something gives a hit of dopamine, a brief little spark of everything is okay. For some people, Especially those dealing with depression or trauma, shopping becomes self-medication. It fills voids, even if it's temporary. And Black Friday is engineered to intensify that effect by stressing you out until the purchase feels like relief. So what do we do with all this? We acknowledge the chaos, the trauma, the overstimulation, and we try to choose a healthier path. That might mean shopping online, setting boundaries, or not letting corporations convince us our worth is measured by the number of gifts we buy. It might mean recognizing when anxiety is driving our decisions, or simply remembering that retail workers are humans, not NPCs who respawn after verbal damage. Black Friday doesn't have to be an emotional demolition derby. It doesn't have to be a yearly sensory nightmare. And it definitely should not cost anyone their life. Sometimes the most mentally healthy thing you can do during the holidays is stay home, make a cup of tea, and let capitalism fight itself in the parking lot. Thanks for watching. Take care of your brain, take care of each other, and may your holidays be peaceful, gentle, and full of actual joy, not coupon-induced panic.